Hey, it's October 8th, 2023, Sunday. We're doing a late one again, 4:30, and I'm not riding solo dolo, man. I got my crew in here. It feels so good. We chopped it up about a half hour before. I got the myth, the man, the legend. He's like a brother to me, Mr. Mike Mckenry. How the hell are you?
I'm great. Yeah, we did chop it up. It should have probably been recorded.
We chopped it.
That's what we do every time we're together, though.
Dude, we chopped
This
it.
is way good. Hey, you're my big brother. I love you to death, and I'm happy to be here. And if you don't know, he has some new protein balls. You can get some Chaz balls anytime.
Yes,
Just
the
show
guy
up
with
to
the
the gym.
glasses. Guys, thanks for coming in. Griff's in, Ben, my Burt Reynolds lookalike. He's in. We got it. We're doing it, man.
What about that stash?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's the man. He's the one that writes the description, too. It's really cool. He's
Yeah.
super smart.
I
He's
love
going
it.
to do my
I love
book.
it. How many ladies just show up and say, "Give me some of that stash"?
Yeah. Well, he's got a main squeeze that Ashland trains him in. You know, he was the one I was talking about on Change, Don't Change of like, can I get in?
Nice.
You know, like
Love
you didn't
it.
have to ask him.
Yeah.
It's crazy when people don't want to, they want to get better.
What do you mean? That's
Yeah.
the thing now?
Yeah.
I thought
I
they
guess.
died.
I guess it. Yeah. I'm battling a lot of stuff. So, you know, you're here. You're in front of me, man. This is so nice because I know we did one on the phone, but like just chopping it up with you, man, and you know what you mean to me as a person, and your walk with Christ is absolutely amazing. And I just want to tell you, and I'm not getting gushy, but I'm just telling you, thank you for being everything you are. Means a lot.
Dude, we're gonna both cry. Thank you for saying that. And I mean, over the last year or so, I've probably gone through some of the worst emotional things in my life, and there's a very small amount of times where I didn't get a text or an Instagram message or something from you that just was so timely. I was just sharing with you off camera that 3:30 in the morning I'd be wide awake and I get a text from you.
Same.
And I think that's a God thing.
Yeah, I do too. You hit me with things and I'm like, oh, I need that one. And whether it's a funny dancing one or something so strong, it's like, I think it's a God thing too.
Yeah, and I never feel, even if I send you like 12 in a row,
Yeah.
I never feel like it's wrong. As a kid, I always felt like I was doing too much. I was too persistent and everything else. But I've learned over time, the people you care about, people you love, and even how I came into understand what love was. The reality of it is, Chaz, like you just go all in or all out. And it's a shirt I still wear to today that you came up with. And I think that's what a friendship is. I think that's what Christianity is. And I would say, thanks for the compliment on my walk with Jesus, but my walk sucks. And if you think it's good and you're a Christian, you're an idiot, in my opinion. I mean, because it should be hard. It should be tough. And Billy Graham says, when I really came to the faith and understood who Jesus was, I looked up in shame. And I have a hard time even saying Jesus' name. And I should, because of what he did. Because if that's what I'm supposed to exemplify, I'm never going to live up. But my entire life, I've been able to push and get to the point I wanted to get to, but I can never get there. So it's hard. It's so hard to look at. And I see you carrying that. Dude, it breaks me to pieces sometimes because there's not many people that can actually say that they're chasing something that hard. And it feels like an empty battle, but it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been, your timing, think of this, Griff and Ben, the timing of him coming in this weekend with all the nonsense and the stuff I've been going through personally and professionally is amazing. Of the time that you got one of the strongest men I know with a heart and just, give me an hour with somebody in the workout and I'll be able to tell you everything he is. And I know when Mikey was doing trail running and I was biking and he was holding China the dog and going through it, I was like, this is one tough son of a bitch. And kudos for you being here, and maybe God brought you here today just so I could dump some things that I'm going through that you've been there. You've been with certain things that vices and addictions that hold people back from being their best, and it's game stoppers for me of watching the people. I've just never seen some of the things that I've been watching lately, professionally and personally, and clients and friends and partners and stuff, that it blows me away. And I think that's what I've had to take in the last 4 or 6 weeks and talk about, like, being strong, of just, not falling victim of that also. Because, talking about codependency on my podcast, it hasn't been released yet, is like, when you go in those group, everybody there is addicted to something because they've been taking care of somebody. And they weren't addicted, but that's how they had to cope with it because it was so hard.
Yeah, I think it's selfishness, honestly. When you talk about, there's a thing going out now. I hear it a lot from psychologists, mental skills, mental toughness, performance. You have to be selfish. I'm sorry, and I'm going to say it. Fuck that. You should be selfless. And that's even with yourself. If that's the version of selfish you're talking about, yeah, you be selfless with yourself and make sure you serve what you need to accomplish. But all we need is Christ. All we need is to make sure we follow those principles and guidelines, because it doesn't matter what you believe or what you think. When you lead to something good, it's always going to start to lead you back to the cross. And some people say, oh, well, I'm Buddhist, I'm Methodist. Whatever you believe, it's going to lead you back to higher and bigger principles. And ultimately the Bible. And, Chaz, I've seen you hurt. You've seen me hurt. And the one thing that, we've always done is we just got up and did the work. And I think that's super important because it puts us in a place that's in a reality that we need at the time that we're in.
So, yeah. So you're saying selfishness is, hey, if you're going to do that, don't pull everybody down with you. Like, that's what I view selfishness is. You're going to be that selfish and do all those bad things to you yourself, do it alone, because you're being selfish. You're not thinking about the people around you. Correct?
I'm saying, unless you're Jesus Christ and you selfishly know that you have to take on the entire world and put it on your back and, die for everybody's sins, there is nothing that is, that was selfish in the most selfless way. If you want to try to put a picture together where selfish and selflessness works. But if you're being like that, Chaz, in my opinion, you're just pulling everyone down away from what's right. If you want a great life, you serve them. You can chase all the dollars. You can get everything you want personally, but until you start giving it back, you really don't have anything in your heart that, man, I did something absolutely outstanding today, or it'll just wear away.
Well, you watch selfish people.
Yeah.
They don't look happy.
But they think it's okay. But they're taking care of me.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And it's not.
Okay, so then the act of me studying codependency right now and being a codependent with clients and personals and family member, everything else, they talk about don't be the lifeguard that can't save the person drowning, because the first thing lifeguards do when they go up to them is like, relax, let me save you. And if they start making the lifeguard drown, they're told to go away.
Well, why don't they teach them to swim? So I was a lifeguard in high school, and I was the first lifeguard that had started to give swimming lessons because I had to save a kid. He was like 3, didn't know how to swim. And the fact that, like, we have lifeguards, we're not doing anything proactive to save the people that we're supposed to heal or supposed to go in and help, right?
Right.
So all that proactive ability to save someone we don't do, and then we expect to jump in and them not fight like hell, that we're trying to drown them when we're really there to save them. Because no matter what, it's going to turn back into me, right? Like,
right.
I'll never forget my dog swimming for the first time. He literally almost put me under. I'm like, what have I ever done to you, big guy? He's got his paw on my face, pushed me under the thing, and it's the reality of, like, he doesn't know. It's so unknown for him. He probably thinks he's trying to help me, but in reality, he's literally hurting me, but he had a life vest on.
Right.
And a lot of times we do. But we don't want to wear that life vest when we need it because we don't want to look vulnerable. And I think that's the saddest part about our reality.
Oh, don't get me going on vulnerability.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best.
Yeah.
I mean, and everybody that is not vulnerable, they think they're tough, but they're the weakest humans out there. Vulnerability to me, I mean, we have a vulnerability room right here of 4 people. And I'd go to war with these 4 guys right here.
Yes.
I mean, we're vulnerable.
Absolutely.
We're vulnerable.
Just met you, Stash, but I got you.
He's good. Yeah. I mean, he's vulnerable. So I was getting on a topic of, like, you called me, I didn't call you when you started training. You wanted to come in and train, and that's why it works. And with even what I'm talking about with codependency, I know it's huge, but it's a really breakthrough with training too. Is like, if you wanted the knowledge and work, And the work doesn't work unless people want to work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then when you stop, I've witnessed this with a couple of clients, even the last couple of weeks, stop being interested, and they became interested for themselves instead of me
Not your job, though.
being interested.
Right? Not your job. But I mean, if you're running a business,
Right.
you have to do those, little things to keep a business afloat. But yeah,
Right.
You're exactly right. I mean, Jazz, how many people walk in this gym with a goal sheet, with a date, with a consequence? Right? I've told you this before. One of my favorite things Kobe Bryant ever said, and it reminded me immediately of you, is the contract's not finished. It's that famous interview he had. They're up, I think, 2 games, and he said, aren't you happy? You're up 2 games. He's like, what's there to be happy about? Job's not finished. I think that man literally signed a contract. And it's one of my favorite things to think of, because if I really wanted to do something, let's say Chaz, which this is something I'd love to do. I want to win a Pan Am's Olympic gold medal as an Olympic athlete, right? Olympic lifter. Have Chaz on my shirt. I would sign a contract to do that, because if I don't, life will bury you at some point to try to get you not to be able to do it. And if there's a huge consequence at the end, and maybe this is extreme, but I think people that do great things have to be extreme. They have to be obsessed. And if they're not, you may get a version of what you wanted, but you're not going to get the whole pie. And I got to watch that in here for years. And I still talk about it. I learned so many life lessons from sitting here doing coffee talk in the morning with you, or riding out, to the mountain bike, or just being lost in the mountain bike trails with you. All the life lessons and stuff I didn't get as a kid. I didn't get taught a lot of different things, especially from, a man that actually tell me the truth, tell me the hardships. And I'm blessed by it. And I don't think people want to look at that. So they think that they can get it because they see what's around them, not what's reality. That's a huge picture that they'd never want to look at, especially kids today. And adults, I think, are getting even worse because they're empowering that belief that is such in a small picture. Like Knoxville is one little tiny place, right? I just had the fortunate thing to go pick the top 40 kids in the country in baseball. Not one kid was from Knoxville. So wake up. If you're a baseball player in Knoxville, you are not a top 100 player in the country right now. But they think they are, right? I went to Farragut High School. They all think they're the best in the world. Well, how many times have I gone back to Farragut High School? Have I ever done an alumni event, right? Yeah, it doesn't matter. You're such a forgotten piece. And when you feel like something did something for you, you want to give back to it. But people aren't vulnerable enough because they want to be the big man or whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. They pull back. And it's weird. It's weird. Like, we should all say, I have no ego. How can I make it best for the people around me, period?
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, yeah, my virtual training's huge right now compared to local high school training.
Make it make sense, right?
I mean, they're finding me from California to Miami to Boca Raton to Fort Walton, but where's everybody here?
Well, why are you here? It's Sunday, right? It's Sunday night.
Yeah.
You're here.
Yeah.
That's the difference. The virtual people are listening to this.
Yeah. I have virtual at 8
I guarantee you 99.
My days are so full again, Griff. It's crazy how it gets like that.
Ask him. You can look at the demographics, right? How many people are from Knoxville?
Right now?
Yeah. And they're like, when you look at the podcast stuff, I bet you'd be blown away.
Yeah.
Because you'd think your biggest pool would be here.
Yeah.
But it's probably not. It's probably very diverse.
Well, like I said, this last weekend I went to Charlotte to see Harrison Smith and see a couple, Brian White, who's on the podcast, who, guys, I told you this. My riches isn't money. It never will be.
Amen.
I mean, it of course, we make business, pay our bills, and do stuff. But watching everybody around me, and a person like Brian White, who's on the podcast, talked about pivoting. Go look at that one. That's money. Watching him be a father.
Talk about that for a while.
I mean, it's a good one, right?
Oh,
Pivoting. Yeah, you're Mr. Pivot. He's doing his thing. He's got 3 kids, a beautiful house, doing his thing. And, when we toasted Saturday night, he was like toasted to the only mentor that ever stayed on my ass and called me at 4:30 in the morning. And then the accolades, we were just talking about that, is seeing Harrison down the lobby, and he's like, hey, before we do anything, Kirk Cousins, we're at club level. Kirk Cousins wants to meet you. And I was like, wow.
It's because he's proud of you. Right?
But you get more accolades from the levels of that than you do a local high school kid.
Right.
They still don't get it.
Right.
And that's probably going to be the podcast title, I think. They just don't get it.
Not biblical.
Yeah, that is.
That is biblical.
He's the carpenter's son.
And think about how much Jesus, when he said the carpenter's son, Jesus spent 30 of his years of his life not in ministry. Let that sink in. We do not think about.
Well, didn't he get disrespected in his hometown also?
Of course he did. You wouldn't even invite Jesus to your barbecue.
I feel like
be
Jesus.
honest. Well, that's a good thing. That means you're getting close to him, and the devil feels it. That's a reality that I think we as society don't talk about at all.
No.
Right? Like,
he's real. He's
no
there.
doubt, he's 100% real.
It's either ear or ear, but he's there.
Or he's on your back, and you're carrying him.
Or he's in your soul.
Absolutely. But do you want to look at it? You know, like most people won't. It's a fight, right? It's just, I was just with somebody that he said, I was saved by the Holy Ghost. I was like, oh, all right. He's like, yeah. When the water came up and the ghost washed over me. I'm like, oh, okay. The Spirit filled you. Got it. Like, and brainwashed to anything bad that could ever happen and shift blame everywhere else but reality of like, maybe you're getting attacked. You know, maybe this isn't exactly the way you see it. Like, ask deeper questions, go further, you know, try to beat the narrative you actually think is there. They just get so consumed with.
So you're saying just getting dunked, he's good to go?
Yeah. Yeah. Join the church. Now he's, you know, serving within the church and stuff.
Oh, I love churchgoers.
Yeah, but the way he treated me early on in me getting to know him, he didn't treat me with respect. He maybe treated me with a little bit of curiosity, but he had an agenda the whole time. And he contradicted himself the entire time. It's like, now's the time to say, yeah, I'm just a broken soul. Mm-hmm. And never. It's like he had healing powers. He's close to Jesus. And it's like, I know this is extreme, but it just happened to me the other day, and I was just mind-boggled. It's like, we just hear so many different, like, people justify what is instead of, like, seeing what is around them. And I feel like you're going through that a lot right now. Like, they just want to see their reality. They don't want to see anybody else's reality. They want to see the perceived reality and say actual reality. And I very, very convicted by that because I watched on a daily, being in media, people watch reality. I was like, this doesn't exist. Like, they really think these people care about them. They don't. Like, people that I've never met don't care about them. It's just, it's wild.
It's all for the gram.
It's all for the gram, baby. Yeah.
I mean, you know, look at those lives. You know, it's giving a speech to somebody last week. Stop holding the Bible. Why don't you open it? I'm tired of that shit. You know, like, y'all see his posts like that, and it's like, but you know the people. Mm-hmm. It's disgusting. Mm-hmm. It's he knows. You ain't fooling them.
Yeah, but they don't care about that.
That's right.
They don't care about
They're
that.
higher. They're higher.
Yep.
They're better.
Yep.
Yep. They're their own God.
Yep.
Welcome
I mean,
to
just
2023.
Just look through the Bible, right? Like, what did David do? He got above God. What did Solomon do? He got above God, right? Paul was way above God, and then he got humbled back down into the trenches. But that's the type of belief I want. I want to be so convicted in what I'm doing that I'll be persecuted for it because I know it's right. And to get to that point, I don't know how sometimes, but that's the reality I want. And if we're not striving for that, we're not striving for anything.
Dude, Mikey gets it.
Right? Like, think about it, though. Like, let's go back to the gym, right?
You always do.
I think that the theology, the gym theology of sorts that I'd say you have, you can learn so many lessons just by watching somebody work. You can learn so many lessons by hearing what people say and watching what they do, right? Like, how many people walk in here and it's like, yeah, I want to do this and this and this. I'm like, okay, well, how is that going to work? And then how are you going to fail? And then they don't have any answer there. Or what's a comparison? What's a journey that you've seen that you could maybe embark on? Nothing. They haven't even studied the thought of how they're going to get there. They think showing up, open up the doors of the Wood Gym is just going to magically put them in a space that they're going to get to. And what do? Without a doubt, what do they do every single time, Charlie? They go get somebody else. They leave when they get there. They go get a stretch guy. They go get a guru. It's like, oh, okay. So you're still searching because you never looked at the beginning.
Damn.
Right? It's true, though.
Dude,
I learned a lot of this stuff from you. You opened up a box for
you've
me.
Evolved. I don't say changed anymore. I say evolve. And I feel like looking at you, you're evolving so much. And I feel like I'm in like a spin cycle of evolving right now. I feel like at 55, double nickels came, and I knew, like you just said, Mikey, that's crazy you said that. And I was like, January 2024 is going to be different for me. And Griff knows what I was saying when I said that.
Truth. I love that.
But I didn't know the difference. But I said that. I spoke it. He heard it. And I knew it was going to be different. And he is. January 2024 is different in so many ways. It's not even crazy.
I'm in. I'll double back with you, or double up with you, however you would say it. I'm in. January 2024 is going to be different.
I feel it. Like I feel like a leaf in a tornado right now. And I'm absolutely loving it. I'm scared shitless. I don't know what the hell's going on in any part of my life. And it's like, and here's the thing, Harrison Smith and I talk about this. I want to be on that present buzz. I don't want to be on it, but I want to feel everything. You know what I'm saying? Like Harry and I talked about that like 2 summers ago. It was like, when you stop doing any drinking, there's a whole other high that comes it masters any other high. Because I know I talk like Ashlyn some now, and it's funny she talked like that, but now I'm releasing that. It's like you feel all the different energies that you wouldn't feel if you're doing anything else. And that's why it's like where I am, I don't know how much more he's going to put on me, but it's beautiful. I'm like, keep bringing it so I could see what the next stage is going to be, because he knows. And I ask him, I ask him for those things at night. I'm like, tell me what to do. Show me something. And we talk about listening or hearing or seeing it. And you have to, once you ask him, you have to be present. So you have to be aware. You have to be on. So when those signs come through, like lines on a highway, when you're looking down, they'll pass by. But if you were heightened and you and Jesus are aligned, you could like go, got it. Or if you didn't, if you weren't like that, it would just go by and you wouldn't recognize a sign that he was giving you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Actually, I got something I'll show you that kind of blow you away. I
can't see anything anymore. Speak, Lord, your servant is listening. Okay. 1 Samuel 3:9. Speak, Lord, your servant is listening.
Notice something weird about that picture? All the arrows?
Yeah.
What does that remind you of? I got to go move furniture. I got to go do this. I got to go do that. I'm running late here. Didn't come in yesterday. Me.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm doing a camp right before I speak at Faith Night. And yeah.
What is that?
My phone was locked on that chest with all the arrows. And I was mad, dude. I was so mad at Jesus. I mean, here I am. I'm 10 years into infertility. No clue why. All I want to do is be a dad and realize maybe I'm not ready. He's taking me through some things.
How old are you, Mikey?
38.
38.
Yeah. And walking through trauma that I didn't ask for. It's generational and it's part of life. But now being thankful for it. But that moment hit me like a ton of bricks, realizing I'm not listening. I'm not even asking. Maybe I'm trying to look for it. Maybe I'm doing everything possible to grind my way through it, because that's all I knew. And you know that. I'll work my tail off. I'll work out till I can't. Literally, like I put myself in the hospital. And I think I realized in that moment, more than anything, that discipline was my biggest enemy. And I learned recently that obedience is what I needed, because his higher authority is what I needed to follow. And everything I was going through, he allowed. And I was going to get to that for you, Chaz, is I don't think Jesus puts all the bad in our life. I think he allows it. You go back to Job, and Job is going through trials.
I ever read.
Yeah, so he's going through all these trials. God allowed that to happen. He didn't make it happen. He didn't say, I'm going to put him through these tests to make him stronger, make him ruthless, make him somebody that can really serve my name. No. He just allowed it to happen. And all he asks in return is to use it for his glory. And I think the more he allows in someone's life, the better you can understand it, the more you're willing to walk through it, you'll come out on the other side and use that for his glory. So that's the ultimate thing. Is like,
so it's not discipline. It's what that you need.
Obedience.
That's what I like.
Because discipline made me a great reader. of the Bible. Obedience makes me a great servant of the Lord. Right?
You didn't know we were going to have church all day today, did you?
Well,
We
that-
love it. I
yeah.
mean, I don't know where I'd be without it. I mean, like I said, when I lost my father in 2003,
Well, what else is
it's
there?
like,
Right?
who do I go to?
Exactly.
I was going to ask you that, and I was, Ben, you could,
But you said that like you lost your father, right?
yeah, but where does everybody go? Like, who keeps people in check? Because I even have people in here. Don't we all need somebody
Yeah.
to keep?
But we need accountability.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like you were saying, why
But
you're
but
calling
if-
at 4:30, right? And I'll never forget. I'm staying at your pool house with Todd. Trying to be a really good friend. I didn't have to stay there. My parents lived 3 miles away, but I really wanted him, and I tended to do that a lot. Just grab people and hold on to them too tight, and it really hurt my career, to be honest. But I learned that, and
Codependency.
yes, because I wanted.
Because you did. You always were bringing people in.
I wanted to be maybe a savior mentality, right?
He was, and I kept saying, Mikey, don't bring them in if they don't want to come in.
Yep.
He's like, yeah, I know, but I know what it could do, and I know the savior mentality.
Yeah, Matt Chandler says you have a superhero syndrome. So what he did is he got a group of men to protect him from that, and still got destroyed at some point. He got pulled off the altar from being one of the best teachers, in my opinion, on the planet because of a communication exchange on Instagram. Nothing sexual, nothing too far, but his group, including his wife, all had access to this exact conversation. But because of the trials and tribulations the church were putting on him, he stepped back down, came back out, and spoke it to life. So he used it for God's glory, and he went above and beyond, even though he didn't need to, didn't fight it, do anything, just said, okay, I'm going to step back, reflect on this, and grow, came back even better. But we can't do that without people around us. Like, that's why I said I'll sign the contract earlier on, because the reality of it is, if you're not willing to commit something and have a consequence for it, you're not really going to do it. Because especially if you don't need to. And people with money, right?
We were just talking this last week with Griff, with the documentary. I was just saying December 1st. He was one of my codependents, December 1st. And then he's like, let me think about that. And I go, that's the problem. Tell me if I'm lying.
No.
And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let's, what is that?
And it may be a completely undoable thing.
Right.
But it's December 1st.
least you're thinking about it.
something's going.
That's what I told him.
That's
I'm like,
it, like-
come to my house and show me 5 minutes of something.
No. It has to be bigger than that. Because you and Griff are close. And I love you too, Griff. But Chad's like, the way you look at it is that if he can come to your house and show you, it's never real. Until you put something, that's why I love social media. You can use it for your benefit too. Put it out in the world, it's real. If you want to say, for example, if I said I'm going to run an ultra marathon on May 25th, and I sign up for it and I sign that contract, if I don't show up, I paid for something I'm not doing. But if I throw it out on social media, people ask about it, the conviction grows. The accountability grows without actually having accountability. That's why it's 75 hard. If you've never seen that, that's why that works. He put it out there, and obviously it's a marketing play too. It's
Right.
brilliant, but it's because it's saying you commit. If you mess up, you start over.
Andy Farcilla.
Yeah. But it's such a dominating thing because you're the only one that's looking at yourself except the picture you have to take. It's wild, right?
Yeah.
But it's how simple the concept is.
Yeah.
Work out twice a day. Read, drink water, eat right. Whoa. For 75 days straight. Whoa. Stop it. What?
You mean don't look at your phone and Instagram for 3 hours?
Yeah. I think there's a benefit in that too if you use it right.
So do I. I got so many blowhards in here. I don't do Instagram. I don't do social media. Good for you.
Well, then put your phone away.
Yeah. Then what's your problem?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got something?
I got these addictions. Oh, and it's Instagram's fault?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, alcoholics. The store is there. You can ride by it if you want to. Again, we were talking about that. I think that's where I'm at wit's end, guys. That's where the nervous breakdown was going to come Tuesday. I'm so tired of the blame game. Like nobody, the best of the best are the hardest critiquist people on themselves. And the rest of them are just pretenders, just blowhards. They blame everybody. It's your fault. It's your fault I drink. It's your situation that makes me drink like that. Really? So after this situation's gone,
You find someone else.
I just had epiphany looking at you that way because you've been.
Share it.
He's been with me for 3 years on this.
Yep.
I won't be the excuse anymore. My squad won't be the excuse anymore.
That's powerful, bro.
That's a release.
Yeah.
But people do that.
I've been terrible about it. I mean, you were talking about Ross. I enabled him as bad as anybody. And I watched him take off. And then COVID hit. That first hiccup, man. You get to see a lot in people. And I love that kid.
Conviction over preference.
Yeah, it's like I'm hitting 390. I'm one of the best hitters on my team. I've gotten more mobile, gotten strong. COVID hits. Career's done. It just means he didn't want it. But he didn't. I don't think he'd say that. You know, and if he's listening, he knows that. He knows that. We've had some meltdowns. I blew him to pieces, and I watched the shift. But yeah, I mean that's a reality. We do it to people as bad as anybody.
The blame game.
Well, yeah, but we allow empower. At least me, I've empowered people I shouldn't have, and then the blame can come on however they want because I've empowered them so much.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
You want them to be as good as you are.
Yeah, and you always said that would be my biggest failure, and I had to walk through that. And now I'm stuck because I have a standard that's so high that sometimes I'll churn, and I'm running in place instead of taking forward steps.
Yeah.
You told me that a long time ago, and I'll never forget it. I'm like, what does he mean? Why wouldn't I be able to pull people up? Well, it's different rungs of a ladder, right? If I'm trying to pull everybody to my rung, it's going to lose. And the only way this gym will operate is you have to understand who's going to get to level 2.
Mikey, guys, you weren't around when Mike Mckenry was in his high school days, his college days, his peak days. One of like we said, if anybody could run the wood gym, it would be Mike Mckenry because he could do all the disciplines. He's an animal. But what he did is he's a Charlie Jr. is he brought more guys in than any other athlete I've ever worked with. And we would get in shouting matches, whether we mountain biked. You remember him throwing his bike one time on something we were talking about.
I remember him throwing my bike too.
Personally, yeah. Is Mikey, don't bring all these guys in. And he was like, well, yeah, but I want them to. And it's what I've dealt with my whole life is I want everybody to be as good as me in this. Why doesn't everybody want the best physique, the strongest? Why doesn't anybody want challenge and go, I want to drop 7% body fat. Okay, let's do that. I don't understand that still, but I don't care anymore.
Oof.
I don't care. You want to be 207 pounds at 32% fat at 5'7"? Good for you. Because you're not asking me if you could do better. Mm-hmm. So I will train you that way. What
if you change? Yeah, exactly. What if you change the thought of when people come in? It's like there's levels to what people want.
Yeah.
Are you willing to do that?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the reason Louis Simmons, God rest his soul, one of my mentors, he didn't. Like, I remember when I studied with him in my 20s, he's like, I can never be you. And I'm like, why? He's like, you have to adjust your personality to different personalities. I just want one. I want everybody to be powerlifting champions.
But how old was Louis when you went and saw him?
50s.
How old are you?
55.
So you're at that age where you don't have to change.
Well, that's what he said.
Yeah.
He goes, when you get my age, you will have no more tolerance for bullshit. And that's reached. I felt it through the 50s, and now with everything going on.
Yeah, and that's why those wins with Kirk Cousins want you to come up.
Yeah.
He wants to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah. People want to understand who you are.
And I couldn't even be in the present state to do it because I had other things going on in my life. I couldn't even be in present state to absorb the accolades and the fruits of my labor of 33 years. I couldn't do it.
That's something I'll ask.
Those damn liquor stores.
But let me ask you this. Do you have to plan that? Do you have to create space for that in I'll use obedient type of way to where like you understand that that's important and you have to create that space. And obviously you're going to have, things that get dropped on top of you.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Because I have a hard time with that. I'm not very good at being present. And I remember Luke Kochaver, when we started working out, he bought me a shirt that says never on time, always on point. And I've always been that way. When I show up, I'm good. But like, it's hard to create that space and honestly be real about it.
If I had to do it now, man, you're getting deep and it's out there. But I think what you're saying, create that space. So if I had to do everything again this last couple months, they would be totally different with my feelings of, okay, I'm meeting Harrison in the lobby at 6:30, 7:30 to 9. I'm Petrone for him, and I'm Petrone for me, and I'm going to meet Kurt with all the energy that I could take and give back and not worry about any outside circumstances. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Like you give the time that is allotted, like you just said, I wanted to be, I say Charlie, so I don't call you Petrone.
Right.
Because that's the gym
totally
for me.
different. Right.
Charlie and Chaz is my dude.
Sure.
So like, but yeah, you said I'm going to give him Petrone for a little while, and then you kind of spin off that. You're still Petrone going into Kirk Cousins, but you gave him that love first. And that's important because you need that.
Yeah.
And he probably needed that, but you needed it as much as he did.
Right.
And that's maybe where we go back to selfishness.
Right.
Where the selfishness that you're looking at is really a selfless thing in everybody else's view, but it may be something you need to thrive.
Right. Because me being so selfless, it
buries you.
It buries me.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I think it changes with people.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause let's go back, and this may be hard for me to say, but like you said that I always need to bring people in. I think I had a codependency on not believing in myself enough.
Well, that's what codependency is.
Yeah. But like, yeah.
No self-worth. I'm reading the book.
And I
Takes me a while. I can't see words, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel you there. Then you forget the
it is.
2 pages you just read, and you have to go back.
But at least we're reading books. At least we're trying to grow with understanding the no self-worth.
Dude, I just went back. I just hired a dude to coach me. Was in the military 31 years and blah, blah, blah. So I wanted a different perspective. I wanted somebody to be really hard on me. And he said, "What's your calling?" And I was like, my eyes just went like this. Everybody knows me. Oh, baseball was his calling, getting the big leagues and being a backup, because they did anything close to that. But it's not. It's whatever I needed to get to see myself more worthy to move forward to whatever's coming. And you say January 2024, I'm in. Because whatever's coming is bigger. And whatever's coming is for the kingdom. Just everything else up to it is the bricks laid to kind of build it.
Yeah.
Because you need a platform.
Yeah.
Right? And we're called to have a big platform. I think we're called to be absolutely wealthy, because the more money you have, the more impact you can have.
Yeah.
If you use it right. And most people don't. But I hope to do that. No, I feel like you hope to do that too.
Yeah. Because, we committed to a January 2024, and there's so many storms coming through right now that I know something is coming.
Yeah, I don't have a job next year. People ask me about it. So, you like the broadcasting stuff? I'm like, yeah. But they laid off 19 people, and I have no clue. Last year, I didn't know if I was going to have a job because of the vaccine. Because I have a genetical immortality or whatever that would have killed me, possibly. Mom had a stroke. Grandmother died 2 weeks after the vaccine. But, we can't talk about that. God forbid, right? Charlie, can't talk about that. Well, it's a reality. I've had vaccine-induced seizures multiple times in my life. So it doesn't matter if it's flu. It doesn't matter if it's cortisone. Mm-hmm. The last 2 surgeries I had, the anesthetic, I turned into a lobster, and I'm still dealing with swollenness from those surgeries. They were so worried about getting a lawsuit and me suing them because they couldn't figure it out. Then I got a $25,000 genetic test. My wife is studying genetics or genomics because of all this, because it's so uncertain. But we don't get that as a child, right? It's weird. And the reality of it is like everyone has a reality, but nobody wants to look at it. They just want to see theirs. And a lot of times when people walk in this gym, their reality dies. They put on their cape, they're someone different, and they feel empowered because the people are around, right? Wow. Think about when Harrison Smith, you had to kick people out of the gym. You knew why. I don't think you understood why at the time, but you felt in your heart. And when you follow your heart, you're 99.9% right, and it worked. And it's because people float to him, and it would have hurt him and hurt you. Mm-hmm. So I was allowed in. P.S.
I don't remember that at all.
It was a tough time for you. That was one of other than maybe right now, that was the toughest time of your life.
Was I eating
Five Guys on the way to mountain bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody was trying to kill me.
Yeah. Well, it's the first time I started beating you all the time in the woods.
You're like, you
But
really
you were still going.
Didn't I have a cigar in my mouth?
Yep. You also drink bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was actually in your like little Gatorade squirty thing. I thought it was Indorocks or whatever it was.
Indorocks. You remember Indorocks?
Oh, I remember Indorocks. Yeah. And then Eddie's Trick Shop. Yeah. I used to go up there. Absolutely. Dude come out and be like, ooh, I'll tell you, we're going to do this. No.
That's right. The Indorocks.
Yeah. Yeah.
With a little bourbon.
No, you just didn't put any Indorocks in.
Oh, just had the thing. I remember getting the Five Guys.
It was warm bourbon.
We were driving to Concord, and you're like, "Are you eating that whole Five Guys right now?" I'm like, "Yes."
Yes. Yeah. You ate it like a Tic Tac. And then you went out, and I'm like, "Where's Chaz?" You come, and you're like, you got your eyes crossed. I'm like, "Wow,
Yeah.
met a demon, huh?"
Yeah. What was that? 2011, 2010, 11,
Yeah,
12,
10,
somewhere
11,
in there. Yeah. Those rough times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time in here.
Dude, but do you ever get out of rough times if you're in the game of life? I mean, isn't there something always around the corner? I look at people that live in bubbles without any problems. They don't look like they're living life. They're just existing through days.
I think people that live in bubbles are the ones that get addicted.
Facts. And we're taking shots.
Well, it's true. Like, think about it. If you're not willing, Brene Brown says, to find the greatest light, you have to go through the darkest of darks. That's a paraphrase, obviously. But like, if you're not willing to look at the
said
darkness,
that to me yesterday.
yeah, it's a reality. And
You got to sit in the dark to find light.
I left a business that was based around mental health that I helped grow into almost $1 million business based on that. The guy that was in it, I mentored, and he would not look at the dark. You can't do mental health. You can't do mental wellness. You can't do anything in life to help people if you're not willing to look at the dark. Accept the dark. Talk about the dark. And it starts with you talking about your dark. Because that's your ministry.
I'm taking notes, bro.
Because when I got asked about that calling, Chaz, I really didn't know what to say. And what the Bible says is like, you use what you're good at for the glory of God. You share what you've been through for the glory of God. Like, that's ultimately the first two things I found in the Bible.
Wow. Yeah. We got a lot to share.
No doubt. Don't we always?
I mean, I've never met a busier man than McKenry, man. He's always going. I knew we'd get him at some point, but you just don't know when. And when you get him, you get him. But that's Mikey. Like, like I told Whitey, I told Brian White this weekend, he said, you taught me one thing is once you understand who you're with, they'll never disappoint you because you always understand who you're with.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So if we're like, we get Mikey at 334, we got him. But that's Mikey. And you're never upset about anybody. If you with a clown or somebody that's inconsistent training.
Let them surprise you, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather be surprised.
Yeah. But you know what to expect when
Yeah.
you go, okay, this person's a cheese ball, this person did boom, and you're like, cool.
I have that written down on my phone from you.
Yeah.
Yep, it's in all bold, or at least your name is. So it stands out in my notes.
You know, it's funny that we talked about that, and then I still put expectations on people that just can't expect. Think about that. Like you know who they are, and you know what they are, and you know what they can and can't do, but then you tell yourself your own lie with that person. So then you're always in a constant battle with yourself of disappointment and hate, instead of going, why would I even put that on you? Like, I could see it with all these other people. Why can't I see it with you? You can't do this.
Well, it goes back to
you can't do that. Think about that.
Yeah, it goes back to what you said. Like, if you're not your own worst enemy, you're not chasing greatness.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if I'm so hard on myself that no one could be hard on me anymore.
Well, I mean, every time Ben sees me, he hasn't seen me in 2 weeks, I'm crying.
That's good. It's called release. Yeah.
I mean, like I said,
I teared up when I saw the stash too, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's nice. I
mean, that's magical.
And the hat, they just throws on halfway.
Yeah, BMW. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, though, Griffey, we say it all the time is I don't want fine and fabulous. If somebody says fine and fabulous to me, I'm going to run away because a lightning bolt's going to strike somewhere.
But isn't that your own reality? Define it. Like, it's like when people say, I just want to be successful. It's like, what's successful?
So when somebody says fine and fabulous, that's their reality?
Yeah, it's like, what is fine and fabulous? Right? Like, is it a car? Is it a relationship? Is it a walk? What's fine and fabulous?
What's happy?
Correct. It's a
I don't know
choice,
what
first
happy
off.
is. I'm trying to find happy. I don't think I've ever been happy.
I don't know. That's tough. I don't either.
What is it?
I know my greatest moments in my life have been helping someone else.
Facts.
And
Don't you feel good?
yeah, whether I get the glory,
That's biblical.
whether I get a pat on the back. I mean, sometimes I'm human.
Do you ever see the
I
people
get
that just
frustrated.
constantly with two hands? I think it's Matthew 7:11. I think the doorknob one. But people that just have two hands out, just pawn, taken. Look how miserable they look.
Most society.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't believe in big government. We'll just go ahead and throw that out too.
Hey,
Yeah.
you could do it.
Right? Like,
Let's go, Joe Rogan. Get on one side or the other. Yeah. Yeah.
or be on no side.
Yeah,
Be independent. Right? Ooh. Right?
Facts.
Fight for your own. Go hunting. Get your own meat. Right? Don't rely on everybody.
Didn't Ronald Reagan say that? Just don't rely on the government.
Was that the best economy in history? Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
it's just, like I said, I don't think people want to look at it.
Oh no.
If you're not willing to look at it, and especially, character. You told me this a long time ago, and it's not a Petronism, it's a for realism, and it was characters made in the dark. You are who you are when nobody's watching, but there's one person watching all the time. And if you're not willing to look at that, you're never going to grow to the person you can be, ever.
Yeah. You could fool a fool, but you ain't fooling him.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny to me, like, how often people are fooled, and it's like the people that are teaching it, you can tell they're not living it, but they're still paying that person to teach them. It's like, the actions aren't there, but they're speaking great, right? And Joe Rogan talks about that a lot, and I appreciate that. Like, he talks about motivational speakers, how they all suck. He's like, the only motivational speaker that should be available is David Goggins. Whether he's real or not, the dude puts it out there like it's real. And I know that
he does it.
I know. And
Yeah.
that's reality. Like, the guys that I look up to, guys like you, they live it. And their life is a picture of the grind, the grit, the attitude to just not stop. That's motivation. This is the only way it lasts. And I think there's different versions of that. It doesn't always have to be hard.
Right.
But he does have a huge point there.
He does.
Yeah. Like, I can listen to Inky Johnson all day. Right?
He lived it.
Absolutely. But Eric Thomas, I can't listen to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just, you can tell. No knock to him. Maybe it's real in his eyes and in his reality, but in my reality, that's not what I need. That's not real motivation. That's not extreme for me.
The Goggins.
The Goggins, the Inkies.
Yeah. You're extremist.
Yeah.
You are.
Well, yeah, of course.
You're always doing something.
I need to be doing more.
Didn't we put that on a baseball bat? More is more.
More is more.
We came up with that because everybody was that trend for training was
Trend.
less is
It's
more.
worse now in baseball than ever. Gotta test my numbers. Gotta test my numbers. Gotta test my numbers. How about just be a good athlete?
Yeah.
Their numbers are all biomechanics and derived by an algorithm instead of what's your 10?
Yeah.
How about a regular vertical instead of a automated square you're jumping out of that reads and you don't even understand it?
Or a broad jump with a tape measure I've had for 35 years.
What's a tape measure?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's a snatch?
Yeah. Yeah,
What's a
that
PR
Yeah.
anymore?
No, nobody does that. I think you hit on something, and again, that's so funny. That's ironic. God sent the Griff and I were talking about that this week. We had a big meeting at my house Friday night about like getting a date down, getting some goals. Because I want him to do the book when the documentary's done. Because Griff is right. Ben could write the hell out of a book, but getting a date. Because I don't want Griff. Me, a leaf in the wind 2 or 3 years from now going, hey, I'm 30 years old and I had this, this doc that's still sitting there. I don't want him to be scared to taking a jump. Talking about leap of faith, and I think that was the analogy we came to, was nobody's just ready to just go up in the trail. You know what's funny? I saw an analogy yesterday on this, Griff. You'd get a kick at it. So would you at Concord Park. All the people look at the trails like they don't even bring their bikes to the trail, where the Concord Park is and they have the trails. They all look at it and they follow the trail instead of just going in the woods and rolling.
I wouldn't know what to do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Like, okay. And then they go back and get their gear on. Then they go back. It's almost like, okay, it has to be planned out like that instead of just a leap of faith. And that's what I was trying to tell Griff is like, just jump this thing. Because we're going back and forth. Maybe you could help us. And I love getting insight. Short story, 20, 30 minutes. A documentary, an hour and a half, or episodes. And he's stuck on the short story.
All of it?
That's what Ross was saying with his bravado.
More is more.
That's what I thought somebody would love a 2-hour thing of that.
Your goal should be win multiple Emmys. That should be your goal.
He don't want that goal. I'm going to have to do the goal for him. I'm going to have to back up the truck. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I'm just dumping. I'm just dumping it.
No, I would say knowing Griff, it's the bigger reason why.
Yeah. Oh, it is. But those things will come.
This could put you on the map in a way that you don't maybe even see because it's bigger than you.
Or wants, which is even beautiful because it's unconscious.
That's a whole nother story, man.
He doesn't want it, but his actions of what he's doing, he wants it that bad.
Yeah, you showed up
because
today.
What I mean wants it that bad is he's like, Charlie, I'm telling you, this is the reason it has to be done like this and this. So everything he's doing is with conviction of wanting it, but then he's saying, I don't want the accolades. I'm not here for the money. You don't have to be, but it's going to be there. So it's your call if you want to take it home with you. You know, if you want to go up to the mic and thank him, but it's going to be for how you're 3 years into this. So he wants it.
Yeah, I would.
You know what I'm saying?
I said this to Griff.
It's counterintuitive.
Yeah. I said this to Griff a long time ago. Is go back to what you just said. Your analogy out there, right? He's looking at the map instead of going in the woods. Mm-hmm. And if I sharpen my axe for 3 hours to go cut down a tree, like Abraham Lincoln said, if I had 4 hours to cut down a tree, I'd sharpen my axe for 3 hours. Because when I go out there, I know I'm not going to fail. And that's the whole thing. Is like your axe sharpened. Now it's go time. Mm-hmm. Now it's just absolutely let it go. And you can do that in a multitude of different ways. Mm-hmm. You could do short stories. You could do a long story version. You could do part 1, part 2, part 3, part 10. You could do it by years. And you could do all of that and still do the 1-2. Because it's not a 1-2 thing. You're still thinking, how can I multiply this content by 10 times? Because people will see it in different ways.
Well, what's funny is Aaron Dykes, one of our guys in here, football player, professional football player, just got released from the Vikings, played at Richmond High School, great guy. He came in yesterday, he hadn't been in 2 weeks, and the population and the demographic of the people that were in here was totally different. He's like, he did say this, Ben, he goes, this place changes every time I'm in here. It's totally different.
And that's what's got to make his job hard, and that's why, you can use what's available to you because the names that have come in and spoken about, you and, what's behind the documentary, it'd grow fast. It'd grow really fast. And I think it's the people that care will actually push it. And I'll push the crap out of it because I think it's important that people understand, for me, someone that means the world to me. And I think Harrison Smith would do that. I think there's multiple guys, Whitey, that have a platform that'll push it. And I think that's important. And I think this podcast is going to grow as that comes, and no telling what God could do with it.
Wow. Yeah.
But I'll challenge both of you guys. I still want to put your theories down, your disciplines down, and I want to map that out so your legacy lives. That's important to me. That's a conviction that's come for me over the last, decade, that's important. And however that needs to be drawn out, whether it's, go compete and draw out those disciplines, because it needs to happen. Because it's been such an adaptable thing for you over the years, watching you go from, when I first came in with the baby notebooks and, some of the a la carte things we would do, but it was power, speed, and Olympic lifting that morphed into even more athletic movements, even more turf movements, to where it became a circuit, a contrast, and different things, because that's what time allowed, but then still being adaptable to go backwards with the barbell. You were a mixture of all these disciplines that are out now and still are before they even existed.
It's a great analogy.
And it needs to be shown, and there needs to be a standard. And I use my favorite Charlieism is 90%. You know this one? Please tell me you know this one. your 90% should be always. So if you walked out there right now, Chaz, you're going to be able to bench press 315. That's your 90%. Your squat. And year round, when somebody says, "Are you ready?" Absolutely. I'm at 90%. I use that as guys that are chasing their dream in baseball. It's like, if you don't have a 90%, like, oh, I got to take this time off. I got to recover. If you're not at 90%, you're not recovering. You're actually going backwards.
We brought that point up. That's a good point, because what Griff's about to do is write on a piece of paper. I still make my workouts that way, and everybody's like, what workout you making? I'm like, I don't know. But what I do, and I want Griff to see and really think about this tonight, Griff, and we're having so much clarity today, it's amazing, is I don't know, but I complete it. Like making workouts this morning, I wrote workouts. I have no clue what I'm writing until I get there, but it's done. And then that workout is done. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is the clarity with Griff is like, it's okay not to know, but just complete it.
No doubt. Because something completed is better than, something incomplete.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, man,
and you work off that.
Yeah.
Because what I saw, and I still see, is you correct me if I'm wrong, this is just sometimes you see someone in the workout specifically made for that someone, and then you surround them with the people that are with them. Like, I watch you do that with me. I watch you do that with Carol. I watch you do that with the combine guys, and then you would throw me in the mix.
Right.
And you would throw somebody else in the mix. Like, I was always running with somebody that was better than me, but then all of a sudden you let me do a 10 and I'd beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And it matched well. But then you'd also, over the years, instead of have that my way or no way mentality, you adapted more. And I think that's when, you went through a lot and you just didn't want to deal with a lot of the things you had to deal with. Mm-hmm. And then your time got slim. So it became more of a, metabolic and everything, but the concepts never changed. And then they started evolving in an even cooler way for me, because you were putting things that shouldn't exist in this mold that, especially on paper, don't exist. And
nobody could do what we did.
No.
It's done. That generation's done of 6 hours, 8 hours of training. Man, Griff, it was train, mountain bike, road bike, come back, train. Like, it was an all day thing. We left here and then went and then came. That generation's gone, bro.
Well, when I first started, I paid by session.
Yeah.
It's different.
Facts.
Different.
Hours.
Different.
Hours.
Yep.
You're going 3 or 4 hours and paying. So we were
$60 an hour.
We were going.
It was $60 a session, and you would flirt with the line, and T didn't like it most of the time. But
yeah.
I mean, we outside of mountain biking.
Yeah, we were on you with Charlie, you getting paid, where I'm getting paid. Yeah, it wasn't like and maybe, God, that was a clarity moment. Maybe that's why it was respected more than it is now, where like the high school kids, even this morning, they're like just hanging out, and
but they don't see it now.
Looking at me that way, and they're just hanging, and I'm like, what are we doing?
But like I learned a lot of business from you, and then you have me around business people. But like you said, you're your own business, or you're doing everything for your business to have success.
Right.
Well, what do most businesses do? They go into debt.
Right.
They take out loans. Name one athlete that did that. In the last like 5. Well, yeah. I mean, I got a signing bonus. Yeah. Todd Martin is as much as his parents filled up his bank account, it was his money. He paid it. He gave it a shot. Mm-hmm. And because of that, he walked away and said, all right, I'm okay. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what most kids don't see, and most parents don't understand, is they give too much to where this doesn't mean as much as it should.
It doesn't have the value.
It doesn't have the value.
Yes.
But if they had to pay for it.
And if they had paid by hour.
Correct.
Yeah. You want to hang out with Chaz.
Right.
That's money.
Right.
Right. That's what we did.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did.
But you wanted it. You wanted to get in the car from here and go to the mountain bike, in the Yukon, in the Ghost. I want to be in the car with you. I want to absorb everything.
I started with you in 05.
Another
06,
codependent that worked. You see what I'm saying? He asked to drive in the car with me.
So 4 years, Chaz, I didn't know the cost. Until I got married, it didn't matter to me. The bill went to my house. My dad wrote a check and sent it in. I didn't know how much I paid for 4 years.
Got it.
Because it came out of my signing bonus. It's the only thing my dad had access to. And I said, sign those checks and just send it in. I spent a fortune. I had no clue. And whether it was overcharged, undercharged, I had no idea. And then I got married. And she balanced everything and started looking at it and gave you exactly what, started paying you by the month. I paid you ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
It worked out better for me.
You
It worked out better. Well, yeah, it also worked out better for you because I
Yeah.
wanted to find that balance.
Yeah.
Business 101. What's best for my business? I bought my own bats when I first got into pro ball. Most guys didn't. I had big league wood. Those guys didn't. That's an advantage.
Yes, you do.
Right? Yes, thank you very much. That's not a baseball bat. But yeah, that's something I learned from you, and those are the things I want to carry on. And if that's opening up a gym, or if that's writing a book, co-authored with you and these guys, like I want to do something where your thoughts, your theories, all the things that you've put together over the year and that wisdom carries on because it's important. It's important to me. Maybe it's not important to you, but like seeing Louis pass away, like that hit me. And I know I already hit you. I got the text and I texted you that day because I watched all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it needs to carry on. Westside Barbell, Woodgym. Same thing.
And there's only one.
No, only one.
He never franchised either.
Only one.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and if this was ever franchised, be powered by Petrone.
Oh yeah,
because it carry your name.
He loves it. How are you in here this weekend when the fill up needed to be for me? Because we were talking about, I was reading this book again and studying, but like my mug's always empty. I'm pouring my coffee cup into everybody else and nobody's pouring me back. And I was just thinking about that today is like, where's my love?
Yeah.
I know self-love, but like, my love's right here.
Can you define it though?
No.
Yeah.
But I know I don't have it. I know I could give it.
Yeah. And probably some of that is love. Back to you.
Yes. I'm winning. Oh, I gotta succeed. Codependency, problem solver, doer, fixer. I got to do. I got it. Like another one. Yeah. Look at me.
Accomplish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of going, wait a minute. Maybe losing is really winning.
That's deep. I like it. Are you willing to lose though? You know what I mean? Like
Maybe
what?
Do you think that you like that?
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
You haven't said anything.
It's about the process.
Well, it's just so heavy.
Welcome to the dark side.
Well, I mean, he came in. How do you like, Ben? I don't know your walk. That's not my thing, but I'm going to always share my walk. But how does he line up this weekend? And he's one of my top 5 guys out of 33 years doing it. Because he fills up. Like, you could always count on Mikey. Like, I need this today. In the emergency room with Ashley, or the hospital with Ashley, with her, I need this today. What? It came flooding in. And they just kept coming. Like, ticker, like, because he was probably like, and what am I being? I'm being vulnerable sitting there like I'm sobbing. But aren't the babies and childlike people real because they have their feelings and they never shut them off? I studied that in therapy last week. It's like, as we get older, we're supposed to not be child, and then we don't embrace all our feelings of crying, laughing, whatever. And isn't it in the Bible we're all children of God? Doesn't he call us child?
Be like children.
Right?
Because it's like we have that consciousness and self-awareness to be able to feel everything. We don't
As a child.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Like, at that age, like, the love and compassion that you can feel in the depths of emotion.
But we're taught, don't cry. When are you going to grow up? Come on, grow up. Don't cry. We're taught that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm around people that were taught not to cry and show emotion. How's that working out? I'll cry all the time.
So think about how you learned how to ride a bike. You spin a little and fall.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You either get back on or you don't. I think that's the losing aspect. You just get back on and it slowly gets better. But try to stop crying. Just keep going.
But even the little things like I'm winning when I'm losing things. You know, like losing a cup of coffee. Losing transportation and free gas and not paying, but I'm winning. And we talk about boundaries. It's not boundaries for that person. I studied this. It's boundaries for yourself. of like, this is my boundary. This is my non-negotiable. This is for me. It's not for you. See, that's wackadoodle-doo for me because I'm just processing that now, Ben, because I've never done it.
But it's also for
me.
But it's also.
But for me, I've never done anything for me.
Right, but it's also for them. Because the best version of you comes out because of that. That's why it's not selfish.
That's right. And
it's
they
selfless.
actually it's like taking the training wheels off. They'll ride the bike. They'll log in their body fats. I watched it over the weekend. Hey, I need that clipboard. I did. Never told them the way in. And I was like, holy shit, it's actually working. When you pull back and go, you ride the bike. You're gonna wobble.
Have you ever heard? Have you ever heard Jordan Peterson said about the mental health crisis and depression in society? He's like, if you would give everybody responsibility that builds their greater self up, depression would start to die.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, there's something to be said about that. Because I mean, think about a kid when they finish something, but how many times the parents actually did the project?
Well, look at me. I mean, I walk grown ass adults to the bathroom to get weighed. I walk with them. Hello, codependency.
Yeah, but do what you used to do. Throw it in a bet. Yeah. Oh, you think you've lost 10 pounds? Prove it. Free training for a week. Yeah. You had a great ability to guess weight. Yeah, I mean, I lost that battle with you. You're like, no. You're 218. I was 218. I thought I was 210. And it's because of my bench press.
But with you're not. My codependency works. You see what I'm saying? Because he wasn't just going through the motions of getting the pat with Charlie or that recognition that Charlie's my best. He wanted something. These guys, the McKenrys of the world, they squeezed me like a sponge. They absorbed it, and I watched it go into them, not just out there. Does that make sense?
I'll tell you something.
Do you get that, Ben? Is that too deep?
Here's something deep for. I wish if I could do anything over in here, Chaz, is I wish that I would have spent as much money as humanly possible to close the gym down, and you just have the people that needed to be in here with me in here.
Oh yeah.
I can't imagine where my life would have been, and honestly, probably yours too. And it didn't have to be all the time, but like just if I had that ability, I probably would take out a loan and buy the gym out multiple days a week. And the reason is because like I had moments with you where the authentic Chaz came out so hard, I took a huge step forward. You know, and you only could give that so much. And it's because you have to balance business, life, family, and everything else. That's who you really are. And, you know, that gave you something too. That allowed you something you needed to, like now. Mm-hmm. You know, you need to mentor guys. You need to love on guys. You just got to pick the right ones. Yeah. And that's the hardest part.
Oh, man. I'm meeting with people that want to be trainers, and it's the funniest thing. It's just like they think it's so easy.
Charge them more. That's one thing I'm convicted by is like, all right, you want this? All right, it's $500. You want to talk to me about it? Yeah. And I promise I'll help you, you know?
But don't waste my time.
Well, yeah, because everybody wants something, but they don't follow through.
Everybody wants to train pro athletes.
But that's not the gift is take a high school athlete and turn him into a pro.
That's producing.
Yeah, it's like when people say, "Oh, he trained so and so." I'm like, tough job, first rounder. Yeah. Right. Here you go. God waved a wand over him. Here's all the talent in the world.
Yeah. Don't get him hurt.
Yeah. Just don't get him hurt. Yeah. It drives me insane. It's like, oh, you know, I'm going to go to this place because so and so went there. I'm like,
he was there already. Pennington and I talked about that. Randy Moss is Randy Moss when he played with him at Marshall.
I worked out with David Boston for a whole offseason. Dude couldn't catch a football.
That's right.
He was
got
all
a poster.
Pro. Yeah, I had his poster. I thought he was a godlike creature, and he looked like a god. And the dude knew more about nutrition and the way the body worked than anybody on the planet at that time. Yeah.
Locked.
Drinking oils at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Striations.
Oh my gosh.
Through his triceps. I mean, his body, I've never seen a body like that.
Yeah, and he couldn't snatch his body weight.
Yeah.
But Lord, did he want to try.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't look at the other things, like the mobility. Like he was great at what he was great at, and it made him great. Yeah. And
linear.
Yeah. Linear, exactly right.
But that was funny because I was like, Mikey, show him how to snatch balance. He goes, Hey, dude, I got a poster of you on my wall.
Yeah, and then I threw up the snatch balance.
But he was looking at him, Mike. He was looking at him. For
I'll
that.
never forget you. Hey, you mind throwing him some passes? And me and Todd go out there and throw passes, and I hit him in the face.
Yeah,
He's like, oh, I don't have my gloves. I'm like,
that's what it is.
I was like, I walked back in there. I was like, I think I'm good, Chas. I don't want to hurt him. He may eat me.
Yeah, he was special.
Yeah,
He
he's-
was a special specimen.
Yeah, special.
He-
But like, that's like saying, oh, I trained where David Boston trained.
Yeah,
Really?
I got
Really?
David at
The
the
guy-
end of his career.
Yeah, the guy taking roofies to sleep better.
trying to get back in the game.
I mean, come on.
I don't know, man. We got story after story.
Yeah. I love where you're going. I'll say that. I love where you're going. I don't know where it is,
Here do I.
but I love where you're going.
January 2024. I spoke it. Griff heard me speak it. What do we got?
Wait till the end, but there you go.
Okay. I got it. Sorry, guys. I had to get a piece
I believe in that more than anything, like speaking things into existence. Because if you don't, that's a biblical concept too.
It is.
It is.
I mean, and
100%.
if he doesn't know, you got to speak it.
Mm-hmm.
He's answered every time I lay my head down. I'm like, God, show me a reason or a sign for this. He's like, okay, bingo. Okay, bingo. Now it's up to you.
And then if you don't put something to it, you'll never ask the question why.
I've been asking a lot of whys.
But you know what I mean? Like you're saying January 2024, whatever it is, at least you're going to be looking for it,
Yeah.
right? Because you put a date to it.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're just sitting and you're spinning.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
Or it doesn't come. And that's
Where
what
it came
was
and
supposed to came.
Even worse, it came and you weren't looking.
Well, I think if it comes, it'll hit me.
Like a dump truck.
I mean, wow. Yeah. I mean, guys, we should do that. Ben, you should speak January 2024, something, because we are missing goals. We're missing first place. We're missing getting picked on teams because you're good enough. We're missing valedictorian. They want to get rid of that. We're missing things to achieve because they don't want us to.
What's wrong with being strong?
Strong.
Right?
Ain't a damn thing.
It's one of my favorite things.
I've never met a person that, remember how we talked about like dumbbell pullovers and everything that you do, but then you could go do the med ball tuck jumps or passes. But if you just did that, you can't do the iron. Iron never lies. It's a thing I fell in love with, Ben, at 13 years of age, because it never lied to me. I always knew where I stood with iron. I always knew, it would talk to me and tell me exactly where I was that day. There was no bullshit. There was no gray. It was all black and white. And that's when I fell in love with it. It became my destiny. It became my mentors, my parents, the iron, just the iron.
Because it doesn't lie.
It doesn't lie.
I say that about the ball to kids when I teach them. Because there's so many gurus out there, and I say, there's one thing that will never lie to you. I'm going to lie to you. You're going to 100% lie to yourself. Your parents are going to lie to you. This ball will never lie to you. How hard you throw it, how good you throw it, how straight it goes, the flight of the ball when it comes off your bat, it'll never lie to you. It'll tell you exactly who you are, where you're at, and where you stand every single moment of your career.
I like that.
Just like the iron. You can't lie about a back squat. You can't lie about a front. You can't lie about a clean. What a jerk. You can't
You
do
can.
anything. You can until you walk out there.
The iron hits
right?
you. Right.
Oh, well, it's my favorites when people come in here. They're like, oh, well, the weights are different. The weights are different.
You're different.
Let's go pick up a tree log. Yeah, like it doesn't matter. Strong is strong.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Weights
just
are
stupid.
different,
Yeah.
right.
I've never done a kettlebell.
I go to the left. Weights are different.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, it just goes back to that
Yeah,
excuse.
they say it.
Yeah,
They say
they'll
it.
find an excuse.
Yeah.
And that says a lot. Like my favorite thing that you do is you read people as they work out. You know so much about them. And that goes back to the very first time I came in here. You didn't let me work out. I was mad. First off, you're 40 minutes late, which I love now because I think that shows the reality of like if you really want it. And I'm texting Brett, I'm texting you. I'm like, where is this guy? Sure enough, I don't even think Brett showed up that day. It was just me and you show up on a Saturday morning. And the gym didn't open until 9. You told me to be here at 8:30. Probably don't remember any of this. I was here at 8. I was so excited. I think it was. And you threw me on that old Nautilus bike that's from hell. Really, it literally came out of the depths of hell. and you said, stay above 90 RPMs, I'll be back.
I used to do that with all the guys.
An hour later, I'm drenched, surviving. Literally, like
I did that.
Yeah.
I actually did that.
I mean, my butthole cramped while I was doing it. I'd never been on a bike that long, and 90
RPMs. To see
RPMs.
what their heart was. I've totally evolved. I'm not saying good
You
or
kept
bad.
me over there for an hour,
To see what.
and every now and then he'd come over and look, and you just hit the button.
Yeah.
And never down, just up.
No.
Not ask how I was doing. And
I couldn't do that today, Mike.
no, but then all of a sudden, like, I'm doing the combine training with the Beast. That was my first like real off season.
I remember him.
And I'll never forget when I went back to school, everybody thought I was on steroids. Then I became an All-American. And that was a choice. And I chased you. You didn't chase me. And that's what kids should understand. That show up here. I chased you. I knew who you were when I was 17. I knew who you were when I was 15. I couldn't afford you. I couldn't come.
You wanted to be here.
I wanted to be here.
I didn't bring you in.
I begged for you.
You loved me.
Well, I hated you, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I didn't hate you. I hated the fact I couldn't come to you, and now it was my time.
Yeah.
Because you were above my pay grade. I had to get to where I was to be able to do what I was going to do. I gave up my Christmas.
But you wanted my love.
Yeah.
You wanted the love of the training. You wanted that. I didn't have to shove it down your throat.
Well, that's different.
I didn't have to keep saying, come on, get better. Come on, you can do it.
I wanted more.
All the time.
All the time. Your love's different. I did want your love too.
Yeah.
Those two different things. That was a huge benefit for coming in.
I couldn't put a person on a bicycle right now. It's a different time.
That's why I want to create your thoughts, your theories, all your disciplines, and put them to reality. The 90%, the snatch your body weight.
That was their high val, Ben. I'd be training people, and the new guy'd come in. I'd put him on the bike for an hour, and not talk to him again.
Yeah, I didn't get real numbers in here for three weeks.
And if they stopped, they didn't train. And if they kept going, there were the myth, the man, the legend, McKenry over there. They were the guy who run through a wall for anything. Yeah. Save people out of buildings. That type of guy. And it's like, that's a Petrone guy.
Did I ever tell you when I did some of the, this hit me hard, made me think of you, when I did some of the, like, kind of soft buds training with the SEALs guys.
Some. Tell me again.
They told me, like, you'd get through SEALs. It's like, or buds. I was like, cool. Like, that's a really cool compliment. Like,
yeah,
they really didn't give that away very easily. And they were like, nobody else that you brought out here would even come close. It's like, but you would die. You'd be one of the first ones to die. And you don't want to hear that. I said, because you don't think about the big picture. And that's that saver mentality. I wanted to serve the person next to me, and I'd be willing to sacrifice myself, even if it wasn't for the right reason, right moment, because that's what I knew. And they broke me out there I kept bringing a guy out, and this really taught me something. I brought out different guys, and then in between I would do the stuff that was really hard because I wanted them to kind of figure me out so I could take my career to the next level. I ended up retiring after this, actually, so tells you anything. They brought somebody out, and I saw him suffer, and I couldn't focus on the task to make it stop. That's when they broke me. And that's how I figured out I would die based on seeing a reality that's not there instead of the reality that's right in front of me. Because him suffering stops if I can focus on my task. So the task is the only thing that matters. That first thing I need to do, only thing that matters, because I can't control the other part.
But what you concentrate on, the suffering?
Mm-hmm. Of someone else.
Of someone else suffering.
Yep. Because that's like, if you put it in a biblical perspective, that's like Jesus trying to carry everybody to the cross.
And you can't.
You can't. He just took it all.
So don't concentrate on the people that are suffering.
Yep. He walked his path carrying it. Spitting. Wow. Yeah. So that I always say it's the aim. And that's my hardest battle on a daily basis, Chaz. That's why I shoot everywhere. Because I don't know what my aim is. I know it's Jesus, but it's such a tough thing to look at because it seems too big. Makes sense?
Yes.
That self-worth thing comes into play. Is like, why me? I don't deserve this.
No. Child Within, it's a book.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's why I separate the Woodgym, Charlie, and Petrone.
Yeah.
Petrone's a different human for me.
Yeah.
Petrone's the go.
Yeah.
Chaz, the guy that calls me at night.
Calls you when somebody's in surgery.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I'd get on a plane and come down if you needed me.
I know you would.
And that's something I've had a hard time in my life. And I would say Griff has had this problem, right? What's your last name?
DeLong.
Right? What's your first name?
Griffin.
What do I call you?
Griffin.
I'll never call him DeLong.
Mm-hmm.
That's been the name on the back of the jersey his entire life.
Mm-hmm.
McKenry is what people know me by. Fort up in my Petrone is Fort.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So when I'm in Pittsburgh, Fort. It's all I hear.
Yeah.
It's constant.
Yeah.
I just watch my wife go through it. Jacqueline.
What's the Ford for all the listeners and viewers and even Ben?
It's my nickname. So they called me the Fort when I was in Pittsburgh, based around where the Star Spangled Banner was writ, because nothing got by me
As a catcher.
So they call me Fort McKenry after Fort McKenry.
Oh, it's big up there.
And it's stuck.
Yeah.
It followed me to Colorado. I have a website and everything's based around Fort McKenry, and it's because I want to separate Michael. It's really important to me because
I love your name. Michael's such a pretty name. But
you call me Mikey, and you're the only human on the planet. I appreciate that because I see you as an elder. So when you
it's
say
an
that,
Italian thing with the vowel.
but I feel
Griffey,
like
Benny.
but I feel like the little brother when you say that.
Mikey.
So it means a lot to me. When anybody else says it, I want to punch him in the face.
Same with Chuck. I hate Chuck.
Well, Chuck seems like a dick.
Chuck's dick.
Yeah. But you can have him if you need him.
What's funny is anybody ever calls me Chuck is a dick.
Right?
Yep.
It's because they want it.
Every time.
But tell me they don't want to demean you. It's
yeah.
Yeah, it's
hey,
like,
Chuck.
yeah, it's like when people ask,
What's up, dick?
do you want to be called Michael or Mike? And I'm like, my name's Mike. You don't have to ask.
Yeah.
Like, you promoted this. And it says Michael. Like, you wrote Michael.
What do you want me to call you?
already
I don't
made
know. You just called me.
Yeah, you've already made the decision.
Me.
Yeah, exactly.
You know my name?
Like, oh, what should I call you? You called me. You already wrote it. Like,
I do. I want to tell you, though, before we get off the air, I want to tell you that Ross could not stop talking about how much fun he had being with you and, like, big ball. And he's like, you got to come next time. Because he sent me pictures. He's like, Mikey was, like, behind the ropes. And this. He really, really does love you.
yeah, I love him to death.
I know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's a...
I want more for him.
Oh.
Naturally.
But wait a minute.
Yep.
Wait a minute. He wants more for him. Does Ross? Hello, codependency. If Ross doesn't, we can't put that energy in anymore.
Yeah, but how do you do, like, probably maybe the last thing we talk about, but how do you do that? Like, you put money in front of it, you create that value, you can do that, but, like, it's hard. Like, I've given away so much time you can't get back.
I know, but you see what I'm saying? The codependency book is just spot on with everything. It's like, I want more for Ross if Ross wants more. But if he doesn't, then I'm fine with it.
But you could still want more for him.
I don't know, because then that takes up time.
Wow. I never thought about it like that. Yeah.
It takes up energy and space, and the cortisol gets released, and all of a sudden you're not burning fat, and you're stressed out because you're wanting everybody.
Trust
great.
me. I know. Like you say, when you can always tell when I'm not a good place because I'm swollen.
Yep. Same.
And
same.
It's like
same.
It's crazy because
I mean, I go. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, and then it's. And
it's
like
nuts,
yep.
And it's like. Yeah.
I mean, I feel so like
you look good.
Thanks.
Lean Italian.
I mean but it just happened. It's just
it didn't just happen. I hate that. That didn't just happen.
It's been a process. Yeah.
And
one hell of a process.
Yeah. It's been carrying that rock up the hill and dropping it back down over and over again.
And you push it back up. And
hell yeah.
It rolls
I
down.
have a hill right in my backyard. It goes straight up, and I wanted to buy the house. The house is great, but I wanted to buy the house because I love that hill. And I'll do this just for you. I need to do it anyways. I want to get a rock. I heard another dude do this. Get a path and carry it up there every day. Oh my God. Put it back down. Just to remind, because I think
that is kind of cool therapy though when you think about it.
It's
you know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you said that. That's exact. Like it seems weird, but there's a therapy to it.
Just exhaust the system.
Yeah.
Just put it out there.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to be weird about it. Like I want people to be like, why is he doing that?
And with no destination or purpose.
Zero.
We have no clue if that gets you. Probably doesn't get you any better whatsoever as an athlete. But man, oh man, just yeah.
Yeah, I got something for all you guys to do. I did this recently, and I was scared to do it prior to. Find the disciple or prophet that you most resemble or think you resemble or, or drawn to. Not look into it just out of your, like, first name that pops in your head. And then go study them.
Mine's Job. I feel like Job all the time. And if you've not read that book, read that sucker.
Yeah. How's it end?
Savage. Everything comes back 10 times fold. Yeah. Everybody doubted him. Friends.
January 2024, baby.
I think we ended on that, man. I think it's been amazing.
Well, let me tell you mine real quick.
You got it?
Mark.
Tell me.
So Mark, in almost every facet, is related to a bison or a bull. Right? A bull throws on that yoke and just works and works and works and works. What I didn't see was, and Mark was a servant to his default. Never really got the glory, but in the end, he got all the glory. And that led me to Samuel. That's the person that most resembles me from that verse. But Mark led me into where I was. Because I was going and going. But one thing I didn't understand is a bison and a bull and an ox all make the choice to actually plow. Never knew that.
I love it.
So like when those animals attack you, they've made the choice. You can't provoke them. So my entire life, I've made the choice to do the things that I shouldn't be doing instead of making the choice that I should.
Wow. Love it. Got it. Booked it. Mikey, happy Sunday. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
And we just pushed Griff. That's when the doc's going to be done. Read it out.
Boom. May 1st, 2024. It's out. It's live. It's real.
It's real.
It's real.
And that's when they'll be coming for him, one way or the other. Happy Sunday, everybody. Thanks so much. Man, oh, man.
I love you, bud.
I love you too, man. This has been nice. Thank you so much. I needed this as much as you did, I bet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You fill me up. When I leave here, I feel like I run through a wall.
Man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
I
Love you,
love
buddy.
you.
Yeah.